Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about PhD interviews and what does it actually mean when you get a PhD or doctorate interview. So, if you don't know, I'm a professor of innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship, and I'm doing this reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can and to help out as many people as I possibly can. Because there was so many people that helped me when I went through my PhD, I wanted to help out other people and just kind of put it out in the world and see what happens. All right, so what does it actually mean when you get a PhD interview? So that's actually a really, really positive sign if you are applying to a PhD and you've gotten to the stage where you've gotten a interview. It means that lots of people, or the people that at that particular institution, are currently interested in you. You've made it through a series of screens. It might be there's the initial screening is going to be based on like numbers and things like that. So, for example, they're going to look at your GMAT score, and they're going to screen you based on your GMAT score. They're going to look at your institution where you did your PhD, or you did your undergrad and master's degree, your MBA, and then they're also going to look at your letters of recommendation. So if you've gone through that, they've gone through, a series of steps to screen out the people that are not serious. And you'd be surprised how many people don't necessarily look, or they get to the initial stages like that and just quit. I don't know why, but that does happen. It happens a lot. And so if you've gotten to that stage, that means you're actually somewhat serious and people are interested in you, right? So with the interview, what are the potential advisors looking for? What are you actually getting, or what are they getting at that moment? First of all, you should use this as a moment to screen them as well as they're screening you. You should really seriously think about that. That is a really important step to say, is this going to work out for me? And is this the right place for me going forward? So for the PhD advisors, what they're looking for is, are you going to be a good colleague going forward, right? So a PhD is not just a 1 or 2 year thing, and it's not just working with that particular person is not just like the time that you are done during the PhD. It extends well beyond that. So they're looking at, it's almost like a courtship or a marriage sort of thing, right? So if you're doing a arranged marriage, you might meet for a couple of times. Well, that's really what it is. You're seeing if that person is going to be okay to be around in your area, in your department, that they're not going to drive you crazy, right? So there's things that they're going to do. They're looking for whether you're actually going to, that you actually have something going on upstairs, right? That you actually are a pretty clever person, because lots of people have been catfished before on the internet, right? So you can write all sorts of stuff if you haven't heard of that term. So basically, people project a really nice profile and then you'll like meet that particular person. That hasn't happened to me because this was the whole dating thing is outside. The online dating thing happened well before my time. I'm happily married and all that kind of stuff. But that people have this nice profile on paper, and then you go and you actually meet them, and you're like, this is not going to work out. So they're looking for that kind of stuff, that you are clever, that you're nice, you're polite, and that the biggest thing I think is that, are you actually going to disappear? And you're not going to take this career seriously. So if that's the case, and if you are just going to disappear, which, believe it or not, that actually happens a lot during a PhD, and after that, people just disappear. They just kind of give up, and they don't stop, or they don't pursue this thing. They just kind of give up. And that's truly, believe it or not, that's probably the biggest reason why people actually don't keep going, is they personally stop during the sort of career, and they just give up, and they are no longer sort of part of it. For whatever reason, there's lots of things, and it's not wrong. to sort of do that if you're thinking about it at this moment. It just means that there's many other things that are going on in your life that are probably more important than what you are currently pursuing, and that's what they are, when they're going through the process, they're kind of looking for those signals. Is this person going to sort of keep going forward and persist at this thing? And it's often really difficult to sort of judge that in one meeting. So there might be several meetings. There might be an initial Skype meeting where it's one person that is kind of taking the charge of this, and they're going to screen out potential applicants. And then there might be a larger Skype meeting or an online sort of interview thing where there's a couple of a couple of professors that meet together, and they sort of make a judgment on that, what's going to happen. And then eventually there will be, at some institutions, when I went through and did this, I had the campus visit, or where I just met with a bunch of different people, and I was just trying to decide what was going on with what was going in that particular process. And they're doing the exact same thing before they really go through and make a serious offer, or they pursue this any further, right? So they're just looking to see, are you going to be a person that is just going to be a decent colleague at the end of the day? That's really what they're looking for. Because on paper, you look okay, and you've made it through that stage, and they're just looking to see if you're going to be a decent person. You're not going to flake out. Because there's so many people that do at the end of the day. And I'm being honest and open as much as I possibly can with all of this. So how should you act during your PhD interviews? So first of all, try to dress to impress as much as you can, right? So do the whole suit and tie, and do the, if it's a dress coat and a skirt, and do all that kind of stuff. Just dress to impress. If it's like a lunch thing or a dinner thing, sometimes you might do that. Sometimes it's okay to be somewhat casual for those kind of sort of events, and just be relaxed. And if you can get to the moment where you're engaged with people, and it's exciting and it feels exciting for you, that's probably a good sign. It's hard to know what they're thinking on the other side, but that's typically a good sign. And you are, if you're getting to the point where people are just energized, that's positive. Whether it's going to turn out for you positively, it's always really hard to know, and it's hard. So I'm not very good at that sort of political stuff and picking up on cues. So some people, if you're like me, you're probably just going to miss out on some of those cues and all that kind of stuff. But, some people can sort of sense that. And with any luck, if you're being yourself, and you really should try to be yourself as much as possible. I know you're going to be nervous. I'm always nervous, and my heart is pounding and all that kind of stuff. But if you can, it's just meeting anybody new. I get nervous. I'm kind of an introvert. So if you can get through that, and, fingers crossed, everything's going to work out for you. But you really want to be as normal as you possibly can during that process, because that's who you're going to be going forward, right? And you might want to try to project something else, but, you're really going to not necessarily, it's not going to benefit you personally. It's not necessarily that you're trying to impress those particular people, but you want to be yourself, so you can actually be yourself when you are, spending 5 to 10, 20, 30 years doing this particular thing. And you want to find the right people that are going to sort of fit with what you're doing. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Bye.